If you own a moving company and you're struggling to consistently book moves all year long, you must master marketing. And here's where people get confused when I say that. They think they need to learn all the technical aspects of it. They think they need to be this spokesperson or build this brand or, understand how TikTok and Instagram and social and all that stuff works and the algorithms. And the reality is, it's just simply not true. What you need to know is you need to know the understanding of how to generate lead flow, consistent leads for your business, because without that, your business dies. I don't care how good of a job you do. I don't care how many great repeat and referral customers that you have. Without consistent lead flow, you will not make it in this business, especially going into the economic environment that we're in. So today I want to talk to you about marketing, how to ramp that up now that we're officially out of moving season and heading into a slowdown in the economy, right? Lead acquisition, customer acquisition is crucial right now. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what it takes to understand and learn marketing. For me, when I started my business, I was, in the year 2000, the Yellow Pages was everything, right? My first ad I put in, it was $7,000 a month. I had no idea how I was going to pay for it, right? But placed the ad in. They didn't want any money up front. They didn't want a credit card. I put it in. It took me 4 months to start being able to even chip away at the payments, right? So when I started my company, I was $28,000 in debt right there alone, just from the Yellow Pages. Forget all the equipment and everything else that I put on credit cards. But for 7 years, 8 years, that was how I built my business, Yellow Pages, right? I opened up new locations to the point where my Yellow Page bill every month between all the locations was $250,000 a month. $250 a month, right? And so what happened in 2007, 2008? Not only was there a recession, but the iPhone came out. And when the iPhone came out, that really changed up the game for marketing, because more and more consumers were going online looking for, how do I find the mover, right? How do I find this service or that service? The Yellow Pages were starting to slowly become obsolete, right? They were still working, but not enough to justify the amount of money I was spending every month. And the reason I share that with you is because right now we're in a very similar time frame where people need to learn internet marketing. People need to learn how to generate leads for their moving company and not take this position of, hey, I'm not a marketer, right? Lewis, you might be a marketer, but I'm not a marketer. And the reality was, I became a marketer out of necessity, because I had a business that required lead flow in order to book jobs, to take care of my people, to take care of my family, to take care of myself, and to make sure that my business survived. So what did I do? I didn't, complain about the fact that, I'm sure I complained actually, that the Yellow Pages weren't working anymore. But what I did was I said, what's working now and how do I learn that, right? That's when I learned SEO, pay-per-click. I started buying leads and understanding how to generate lead flow online. And that's the same thing you've got to understand today. So if you've been busy all summer, or you had crushed it in 2020 and you crushed it in 2021, things are different now. Things are different today, right? So if you've been a little bit complacent on your marketing, or if you're like a lot of people who say, Lewis, I tried this and I tried that and it just doesn't work, I want to talk to you today about why that is and what you can do to start generating more opportunities for your sales team to book and get more jobs on the calendar, all right? First thing you've got to realize with marketing is that it's more about the way you manage your marketing than it is about, what color to use and what picture to use and all that other stuff. And it all comes down to 3 things: testing, tracking, and tweaking. Testing, tracking, and tweaking. What that means is every day new lead sources are coming out, right? Existing lead sources and providers are changing the way they do business, all to adjust to the way that the consumer is searching, the way that Google changes things up. And what that does is it creates complexity. But that complexity gives us ultimate opportunity in this modern 2022 day of the moving business, right? Where in the past it was easy. You had Yellow Pages and you paid the bill, the phone rang, right? But you were committed to that for the year. You couldn't make adjustments. Where now you could have marketing really diversified across a broad range of different lead providers and lead sources and track what's working and what's not working, right? It's all based on ROI. It's all based on the profit that you generate from each individual lead source. In order to do that, you've got to track it, okay? Now, this is where people feel like, oh, Louis, this is advanced. There's nothing advanced about it. It's knowing where each and every call came from, each and every lead came from, tying that to the amount of jobs that were booked from that to determine the amount of revenue that you made versus the amount that you spent. So if you spent, $10,000 in marketing, but you made $100,000, right? 10% of your revenue went to marketing. Now remember, that's important because we only have 100% of the pie, right? When you get a move, and let's just call it $1,000, you get paid $1,000 for a move, well, you've already got probably 30% that goes to labor, right? Then you've got your truck, then you've got insurance, then you've got fuel, then you've got material, right? You've got the cost to service that move, right? You've got to service the move. So you can't spend more than you could afford on marketing, right? So it's essential that you're tracking what's going on, all right? So you're testing everything, right? There's new lead sources coming out every day, right? There's a bunch that maybe you've tried in the past, right? That have made some adjustments that maybe you need to try again right now. But the difference is where I see most people fail is they say, oh, Louis, I tried that and it didn't work. And I'm like, how do you know it didn't work? The phone just wasn't ringing, It was hard to get a hold of people. All these different reasons why it didn't work. And I start, I get into, okay, what does your sales process look like? Are you testing these? Are you tracking them? Do you know what the ROI is? Do you know what the conversion is per lead, right? All this stuff's very easy to figure out. It's not that hard if you just wrap your head around the fact that this is how you do marketing, right? And so once you're able to kind of test different sources, track them to see if they're working, then you tweak, right? And this is where the magic comes in. You basically are able to identify, okay, what lead sources are generating the best ROI, right? Let's say they're at a 10%, right? They're 10%, it costs you 10% of the job in order to acquire that job, right? Marketing. And which ones aren't? Maybe you're paying 25%, meaning, a job is a $1,000 job and it costs you, your acquisition cost is $250 to get that job, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, just book the jobs by any means necessary. And then they don't realize that they're slowly putting themselves out of business, right? So when we talk about tweaking it, it's about, okay, let's take a look at your ROI report. Let's see what's there, establish what's working, what's not working, right? We want to first look at our sales process, which I talk about in other videos, and look at that sales process and say, okay, are we actually calling these leads? Are we following up with these leads, right? Are we running our sales process the way that we need to in order to maximize our marketing? If so, well, then your next move is to basically establish what the winners are and what the losers are, right? What's working and what's not. And when you can do that, and you could take, let's say you're spending $5,000 a month on a lead source that's not working, but you have another lead source that's working fantastic. Maybe you're only spending 4% of your revenue to acquire those jobs. Well, if you're able to take all or some of that $5,000 and reallocate it to that lead source, it's magic, right? And I say that word and I really mean it when I say it, because that's how you make big leaps. That's how you see companies really getting ahead. I've got a client that, when he came to me, he was spending $50,000 a month in marketing, and his company was doing $3 million a year, right? So when you look at that, that comes out to 20% of his revenue, 20% of the marketing, 20% of his revenue to $3 million. He was spending about $600,000 on marketing. Well, that's going to cut into your profits, right? People always, my main thing is get the profits up, right? And this is one of the main areas where you can do that. So what did we do? We did exactly what I'm talking to you about right now. We went in, We looked at all his individual lead sources. We made sure that they were getting tracked. And then we started to reallocate. And what we did was we actually were able to reduce his marketing from 50,000 to 25,000 because stuff just wasn't working, right? So we had to eliminate it. But by doing that, we also reallocated some of those funds to other sources that were working really well. And guess what happened? Went down to 25,000 from 50,000, okay, in marketing. His sales went from 3 million to almost 6 million, to 5.8 million by reducing the marketing in half. So like if this is the first time you've heard this concept or have really looked at marketing in this way, I know it could seem like, wow, how is that possible? And this is how marketing works in the moving industry. This is how companies scale and get to that next level, open up locations wherever they want, open a market, come in and dominate. It's because they understand the numbers, right? It's not about what color should this be. It's not about what should I write here. It's not about what marketing agency you're using. It's about testing, tracking, tweaking. And if this stuff right here, if you like this type of stuff, if you're like, yeah, that would be useful in my business, then I want to invite you to come and join us at Moving Mastery Summit. We are coming up. I'm doing a 3-day live event in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's October 18th, 19th, and 20th. All right. We're almost sold out. This is going to be a transformational event for your moving company. If you're in the moving business right now, is not the time to be complacent, right? We're going into the fourth quarter of a looming recession, of a housing market that's slowing down, and it's time to take charge. And these are the types of things, these little small adjustments, right? That when you start to stack those up in your business, not only does your business transform, but everything happens in a systematic way to where you're able to step away and watch your business, see what's happening instead of feeling like you're consumed in it, and then your life changes as well. I want to help you get there, my friend. 3 days, right? It's less than 1% of your year to come and spend and immerse yourself in what it takes to transform your moving company, get to the next level, increase profits, get yourself some freedom, build a team, and have a business that you could be proud of that can generate wealth for decades to come. Click on the link down below, get signed up. We're almost sold out. If you do hit the page and it is sold out, I apologize. I hope this video served you. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. I'll see you at Moving Mastery Summit, October 18th, 19th, and 20th, Scottsdale, Arizona. Click on the link, get signed up. I'll see you there.